Good day and greetings and welcome to you all to the Peak Wellness Hour. We are about to go live. No, we got some people in the chat waiting. Thank you so much for coming in. We're super excited from Peak Homecare Associates. So we're going to count this down and go into the live. But while we do this 30-second countdown, I want to ask you to do a couple things. I want to ask you to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I want you to hit the like button because we're going to share some positive information, have a positive conversation. And then really quickly, I want you to share in a text to someone that can benefit on this conversation about getting back to family values. Share in a text and then share on your social media platform if you choose. But share with one person in a text because we're going to have a really awesome conversation. So stay tuned, grab your pen and paper. We want you to engage with us, and we're going to get started. Welcome, everyone. We switched some things up. So welcome. Come on in. We're so grateful to have you here. Welcome, Queen Betty. So happy to have you here. My Queen Aunt Betty, my Queen Mother. Welcome, everyone, to this broadcast. We're so excited to be here with you all for another day, right? Yeah. To have another positive conversation. Before we begin, again, please like and share. Before we begin, anyone, I want to address something, okay? We're talking about family values. We consider you all family here. Peak Homecare Associates, all the team members are certainly family, right? In some way, shape, or form. So I'm going to be honest with your family. The last broadcast, I can laugh about it now because I'm human. I got sick. And I think toward the end, if you watch the broadcast, I got sick toward the end. I want to apologize for being unprofessional. I thought I turned the camera off. I was sick all morning. I went out with my husband, my king, to watch this basketball game that he's into. Had a couple shots, ate some cheese with some nasty pretzels on an empty stomach. Bad decisions. Okay, so I had to pay for that. Thought I'd turn the camera off again. Just sharing that just to clear that up. And just to show you that we're human. I'm a nurse. I'm a life coach. I do all kinds of things. Queen Edith is all sorts of things. We're mothers. She is the founder and CEO of Peak Homecare Associates. We are real women. We are real people. And we are here to have real, genuine conversations with you. And so I share that to say that. You know, I was speaking with and shout out to everyone that gives feedback and reaches out to us and shares positive things. My Aunt Betty says, She said, you all flow so well together. She says, I don't know how you get all this information. And she is a nurse. My queen mother is a medical assistant. She said, I don't know how you get all this information that you all share with us. I said, we just let it flow. We just let it flow. And we do
Interesting,
our
yeah.
research, and we just know what we know. We don't know everything, but what we know, we want to share with you all. And we want to encourage you to share your input and to engage with us. Okay, so we can all grow together. So we're super excited about that. Super excited to have this conversation. Getting back to family values. If you go to Facebook on the Peak Home Care Associates page, you'll see the article posted there from National Today. Today is the 18th, May 18th is National, what is it? Visit Your Relatives Day. Okay. You can find that link also in the description here on these platforms. So you all check that out. And we're going to dive into this conversation just as soon as Queen Edith graces us with her words of wisdom and love. Queen.
Wow. Hi, it's another day. Yeah. It's beautiful out there. So if somebody cares, please just tell me to go out and enjoy the weather. Take my own advice and go out and walk. I need to walk. Anyway, how are you all doing? Queen Betty, I don't see them, so I don't see them. Queen Betty, Queen Randa, and all of you who have been there with us all the time. We appreciate you. We love you. And yes, you are family. One of these days, I'm coming over. One of these days, I'm coming over. I'm coming over. Anyway, visit your family day. Visit your family day. It's so important. Family values. What's happened to family values? I guess we'll go into it, but it's a good Saturday. Yesterday, I celebrated 4 years since my mother passed, and I miss her. I still miss her. I still hear her voice. I still hear her tell me do things. I imagine her telling me, "You need to do this. You need to do that." But because I know her, and so it's an emotional time for me. But I wear all white because I celebrate her life. Um, what did we do last week? Last week Sunday was what? Was not Mother's Day, was it?
It
No.
was.
Last week was Mother's Day. Yeah, last Sunday was Mother's Day. How was your Mother's Day? What did you all do? Would you like to share with us? And I have a request. If you've been here with us over time, and there's a topic you want us to talk about, we'll be grateful to have it. So we'll get into those topics that interest you as well. Okay. Thank you for joining us. And God bless you so much. And we look forward to this discussion. I know Queen Angelina has so much for us. I'm here to follow the lead. Thank you, Queen. I'm sorry. Please take it away.
No, you're fine. It's funny how, like I said, my Aunt Betty said, how we just kind of just flow with it. Sometimes, one of us, will start out taking the lead, but it flows so well. So I'm super excited to have this conversation.
You too.
Um, I wrote down some notes. So last night, Queen is busy in school, finishing up with her degree for family therapy. Okay. So you all check her out.
Finishing up the semester. I have 1 year to go. Yeah, 4 years. One more year.
Okay. See, celebrate that. Yes, we certainly celebrate that with you. So we just kind of, what are we gonna talk about? And we just, like we said, we go with the flow. So I wrote down some notes. And you started off just right. Okay. You mentioned your mother, your queen mother. And thank you for sharing that. There are so many people that have lost loved ones and we don't talk about it. And it's pent up, and you don't know how anybody feels. You're sharing that. I don't know how you feel. I think you all have seen me a couple of times break down and I'll turn the camera off, when I get to talking about my grandparents, because it's very sentimental. This picture here, it might not look cool, but I say, this is my grandmother's picture. It was her picture for years. It's the only place it goes is in my dining room, but it's sentimental, So we want to have this conversation with you about family values, and something you said with that as far as losing loved ones. As we decided on this conversation, like I said, I said, last night I text Queen Edith. I said, well, tomorrow is National Visit Your Relatives Day, so let's do something with that, because we've been doing women's health, we've been doing mental health, and tying into caregiving, right, and being advocates for our loved ones and our seniors. So I didn't know how we were going to swing this, okay. And then I called my aunt, my Queen Aunt Betty, and we were talking, and she's always so positive. um Everyone I speak to, everyone we engage with, they're positive people. That's what we like to engage with.
That's
Right.
right.
So we appreciate that. We want to give that back to you all. But she shared with me, her sister, my aunt, my mom's sister, was on her way to passing, and she did pass last night.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry. My
there's a lot
condolences.
of dynamics with that, and I said it to say there's a lot of dynamics. And we have conversations with family members. And what I want to share with you all is this: when we're talking about visiting your loved ones, spending time with your loved ones, checking on people that you love, okay.
Mm.
um, Family looks like a whole different thing, a lot of different things to people, so checking on your family, the people that you love. With relationships, and in the end result, there's only gratitude or regret. Complacency has no place in relationships, because it means that you're stagnant and you are able to wave and be, swayed. You're not consistent, and you're
Mm.
not engaged in a part of that relationship. And that goes for all relationships. So at the end of the day, you have either it's a sum of gratitude or regret. And if you can look at life, and someone passes, someone shifts out of your life, however that is, right? Do you look back and say, oh, I regret this, I regret not doing that? Or can you say, I am grateful that I got to? Maybe I didn't get to be there in that moment, but I'm grateful. The last time we spoke, I apologize for being rude. I said I love you. I forgave, or is it, I should have said, I should have done? There's only one way in the end. And we think about the last things we do or should have done, and it haunts us when we don't feel like we are aligned with that. But I want you all to think about the first. I'm angry at Edith. This is my sister. I'm angry at her. She did something years and years ago. I tolerate her family reunions, but I just can't stand her because she did what she did years ago. I don't even want her speaking to me, but the last thing I say to her, she moves out overseas, she doesn't die. She moves overseas, she knows whatever happens. The last thing I said, before you do the last thing you're going to do, think about every first. The first time I met her, the first time she made me smile, the first time she said something nice to me, the first time we had lunch, the first time I confided. There are so many firsts, great firsts, that should trump all the things that would be the last bad thing you say or do. I want
Wow.
you all to think about that.
Wow. 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 Family values. Wow. Before you say the last, think about the first. Before you say the last, think about the first. Don't regret. Be thankful that you got to do this and you got to do that. People say you only live once. In some sense, it helps because you have this one person, these people. We are born into families that we don't choose. As we grow and we live our lives, we get to make families, along the way, the ones we choose. But we are born into families. So I guess we'll talk about both the families we were born into and the families we get to make along the way. And I'm reading this thing. It says family values refer to the principles, beliefs, and ideals that guide the behavior of the people and the relationships. Behavior determines how strong a family unit will be. And these values are passed down from one generation to the next. And they form the foundation of every family's identity and culture. They shape how family members interact with each other make decisions, and navigate challenges together. So it talks about behavior, it talks about foundation of the family, it talks about the identity of the family, the culture of the family. It also talks about how we navigate challenges together. So challenges, the families have challenges. We may have the same blood running through our veins. We may have grown up in the same house, and yet we are different. We behave differently, even though we have the same blood running through our veins. So, to piggyback to what Queen is saying, that your sister might step on your foot. Your brother might say something, your brother's wife, your sister's husband, or whatever. But the key factor is this: the things that bind us together are much more important and should be more important and stronger than what seeks to break us apart. Tying that to home health or home care, and we are a non medical, non skilled home care agency. And one of the things we've observed families who are devoted, I want to use the word devoted, to their parents. They have caregivers with, or they have hired out outside caregivers, because family members can also be caregivers. So outside caregivers to help the family members, support their family members, take care of their senior loved one. And yet they don't stay away. They are almost in it of every day. They are interacting with the caregivers. They are talking to us, so they know what's going on with their mother and their father, or both, or either of them. However, we've also seen seniors who barely get phone calls, even if their families live out of state or they're too far away. They barely get phone calls. They barely, let alone visits. And the interaction, the opportunity to interact with their grandchildren and great grandchildren is non-existent. One of the biggest prides of every senior is their grandchildren and their great grandchildren. Sometimes the children, which is their own children, may be there, but they don't get to interact with the grandchildren. We have a client who will say that I miss seeing children. Like, we live in an environment where we don't children, because there are no children living here. We don't see children come around for candy for Halloween. We don't see children play. We don't see the school bus. I have a client, every time she sees the school, yeah, school bus, it's surprising the things we don't think about and we take for granted. But it matters to our seniors, and we deprive them. Maybe not so deliberately, maybe because life is gotten so busy. Maybe we don't even think that is important to them. But unconsciously, we deprive them of that opportunity to interact with their grandchildren, with their great grandchildren. So I want you to be cognizant of this fact, that human touch. And let's talk about social media. A lot of people, families may live around. There's no COVID or any disease that's stopping you from going to see your senior loved one, be they in a facility or in their own home. And yet, we'd rather do Zoom, FaceTime, rather than actually come and give a real hug. Let's talk about that.
Mhm. Hmm. Well, I wrote something down about that as well. Being busy, time management, balancing out your life. Um, we tend to go with the flow. We're so busy, and we use that word, being busy, making excuses for why we're not doing what we need to do, or what we should do. Okay. Um, I think if you're going to FaceTime, you should do it all the time. You know, you should do it once a week. If you are capable of seeing your loved one, and I'm guilty of it. A lot of us are. Why would you only FaceTime once a month? Well, we're so lazy and complacent when it comes to giving back care, especially like our motto says, caring for those that have cared for us. That is a big responsibility. Um, Queen Betty said it is important to have a praying grandmother. Isn't that right? Where are the praying grandmothers? We have, you look at TikTok, you mentioned social media, you look at TikTok and you have a grandmother, a daughter, and a granddaughter, and the grandmother's 35, all twerking in the living room.
Oh my goodness.
Where are you see what I'm saying? Like these stair step age, elders, and I don't know, so I think when it comes to really spending time, you have to want it. You have to realize especially when it comes to our seniors, the baby boomers, it's a big deal. We're talking about the cost of healthcare. We're talking about, the shortage of healthcare providers with the baby boomer needs, all these things. But let's talk about the baby boomers that have all this knowledge and wisdom that we're not tapping into. And once they transition, that knowledge and wisdom is lost, and our children are lost. It's important to take your children to see their grandchildren or their grandparents. And not just that, great aunts and uncles. Those things are important. People that have wisdom and knowledge to instill in you, it's legacy. And we're all lost now. And this is where we are, social media, too busy to go. We're asking our children, we're going to go see grandma. You want to go? Do you want to go? Where are your shoes? We're leaving in 30 minutes.
Get ready, let's go. Yeah.
So it has to be something that we're mindful of. And we have to understand the importance of wisdom and legacy. And so many of us are lacking that wisdom and knowledge. We know a lot, but we're not wise about it. And if we were, we would pay it forward and we do better collectively as a people, as human beings. So we're missing that wisdom that comes from our seniors. That is awesome time to spend. If you are in healthcare, spend time with the people you take care of. Know who they are. They're individuals. And that's amazing for someone that doesn't know you to form a family relationship with you and share their lives with you as seniors to a caregiver. That's something to be grateful for and learn from. So, yes.
Wow. Let me read this thing I have written down. That the necessity of family values lie in the ability to provide a sense of belonging, number one, stability and support within the family units. Belonging, stability, and support. These help create a nurturing and loving environment where individuals feel valued, respected, and understood. Family values also play a crucial role in the moral and character development of children as they learn important life lessons, ethics, and principles from their parents, grandparents, and other family members. I come from a culture where we have what we call the family home or the family house. In the paternal side of my family, our family house was our grandfather's house because he had this huge home. Because I come from a big family and he had a big home where he kept all his children. So the grandchildren will go. We lived out of state, what you call out of state, out of town. So my parents will come to visit every 2 weeks. They'll come and see my grandparents, my grandfather, and of course others. However, every 6 weeks or every vacation, they'll ship all of us to go to the family house. The family houses, my uncles are there. They don't necessarily live there, but they're there a lot. My aunties are there a lot. My cousins are there a lot. So our grandparents were never alone. Okay. And we take turns visiting. Every school holiday we were with them, and we learned a lot. We learned a whole lot from these grandparents. There's a lot to be passed down. Okay, they feel valued and they feel like our children know. When I was in my teens, it was the norm to see aunt, uncles, and even our parents, close friends sitting around the kitchen table, yeah, having coffee and talking about going junking, looking for antiques, and doing stuff. First of all, our children and their grandchildren learn about the family. They learn about their roots. They learn good morning, Queen Laurie. They learn about their roots. That's where they find out who they truly are, what they belong to, because whether we like it or not, we are all branches of a tree that has a root. When you know what is in your roots, who the branches are, and how you came to be, you realize that you didn't want to be a doctor by yourself. You didn't want to be a pharmacist just because. You didn't just want to be a nurse. It's some things run. In my maternal side of the family, one thing you see is many of them are pharmacists. And so we come from something. A lot of people, like Queen Angelina said, hello, Queen Joyce, we are lost. We are lost because we don't know who we are. Listen, I can never stop saying it. We don't know who we are. So we are following what everybody else is doing. And it almost seems like our, we're not centered,
Hmm.
properly centered. Family values, instilling family values, bringing the family together around the ones who have been before us, help instill certain things into the children, into the grandchildren, and provides the ability or the opportunity for continuity of some of the great things that make us unique for carrying that last name, for being part of that family. Having said that, you may have a parent whom you don't see often for whatever reason, and maybe you yourself are incapacitated. Let's just say that maybe you've grown, you have health challenges, there's situations so you can't move. How do you know? How do you ensure you can send your children to go see grandma? Because then that's her way or his way, grandpa's way of connecting with you. Whilst they are there, then you can do FaceTime, you can talk, you can laugh together. The body, we were not created to be secluded, to live that alone life. You know, it's amazing that people don't like to hug, but the things a simple hug can do for you.
Mm-hmm.
A simple hug, a simple pat on the arm. Don't say nothing, just touching somebody's hands and holding their hands. There's a level of assurance, and for whatever reason, your spirit kind of breathes. And let me bring this too. Don't go around grandma and grandpa. Sit with her or him and be in your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to take that away?
I agree.
We congregate. Sometimes we are all together, but we are not together.
Mm-hmm.
The value of interaction, actually interacting with a person in front of you, is
We're not
very.
engaged. We're not engaged. We're not attentive. We're not. Very distracted. So I agree with that. I agree.
You want to add on to that and take it away?
Uh, okay. You said something. I'm going to ask you a question. So, shout out to Queen Lori. I know, and I'm saying Lori as well as Queen Betty, my mother, Queen Rhonda. I know these ladies are in healthcare. If you are in healthcare and I didn't mention you, please put a one in the chat. I want to acknowledge you, and I like your feedback. So, Queen, you said something about individuals, seniors that don't have family that come and visit, that don't check on them. Um, what are your thoughts as a healthcare provider, seeing things over time? What are your thoughts looking on the, looking from the outside, when you see family members, you love Mr. Smith, he's so awesome, he's so funny, and his daughter never comes, she only comes to drop off, supplies, she only stays for a short while, when she comes, what are your thoughts on the outside, and how do you view that perspective when you hear that from other healthcare providers regarding family dynamics?
So my my initial thought comes from my cultural background. So that is not to judge and say someone is doing it wrongly, because we are all informed by our culture. It bothers me a lot. It bothers me a lot because there is no way, as an African girl, come to drop supplies for my mom and walk away.
Mhm.
Nah, nah, nah. And because of the all-inclusive extended family system we have, they're never alone. I
Mhm.
remember even when my mother was not living in her family house and she has her own house, so our parents who became our family house, and my dad was gone, of course. My siblings, everybody's gone. I'm away, and I'm talking about they living in Ghana. Her neighbors were there all the time. The neighbors' children, when they go to the store, the grocery store, the market, the mother will say, go to Grandma Grace and ask her, does she need anything? And so they'll take my mother's list and go. When they're cooking, Grandma, do you need anything? Can I cook? What can I cook for you? Neighbors were always there. So every time I'll talk to my mother, and this neighbor is here, that neighbor, I'll greet them, we'll talk, and I'll leave them to them themselves.
Mhm.
It bothers me. I used to be very judgmental about that. But I also learned that sometimes it is the way they grew up.
Mhm.
That personal relationship was not there.
Mhm.
So the daughter or the son that's at this stage does not really know how to have that relationship. Maybe dad or was so busy working, or maybe they just left mom. But they're my dad, so I'm doing what I know to do, take care of him or her. However, don't expect me to be friends. Don't expect me to have that family
Mhm.
interaction. That could be some of the reasons. And I've learned that along the way. I don't judge them, but whilst I am or we are with the family, we make the most out of it to make sure that they meet. And one of the things we need to do as caregivers is also to make sure that we are communicating. Like some of us will send pictures if we have the permission, say, oh, dad or mom, today this is she did something this, she did that, so that we involve them as much as possible. But it's a challenging family dynamic.
Mhm.
It's difficult to say what about who, but everybody is dealing with something, and we don't know the history. Our job is not to know the history. Our job is to learn to love that individual we are with, be our best, as best to family as we could possibly be while still maintaining our professionalism and ensuring that we are involving the family. So if dad normally doesn't go out maybe for a walk and today they go out for a walk, you let the family know today we went out for a walk and dad walked for almost 15 minutes. Get them involved. Every now and then we can call the family and say, oh, dad wants to talk to you, or say, hey, and I call and say your daughter wants to talk to you, just to bridge a certain gap and let them feel like the children are still part of it. Because otherwise it's a difficult thing to watch. And especially also when the family is so far away and the cost of travel is so expensive, they come down just as special holidays. And so We try to figure out how. But for what I think about is, there's so many different family dynamics at play. It's difficult
Mhm.
to point a finger and say this or that. But overall, whilst we are there, we can we can figure out how to bring about the needed interaction that makes everybody feel like they are valued and they're part of what is going
Excellent answer. I couldn't have said it better myself.
on.
Okay, yeah. You all
What do
have
you
any thoughts?
well yeah, I'd like to know your thoughts and of course the thoughts of our friends and our family online.
I totally agree with you. You know, wholly. It is unfortunate to watch, but I realize you don't know the dynamics. Um, on one side, like you said, it can be where there's just bad blood, unhealed issues. On the other end, it could be where it's you cannot watch this process. You all know I am skilled in dementia care. And so watching those processes, watching your loved one with dementia, your dad, your mom, um, deteriorate, it can be hard to watch. I think there's a lot of different dynamics. And that's why with healthcare, you have to give grace and mercy. Like I said, Mr. Jones could be an awesome patient, awesome resident, awesome client, but Mr. Jones was never there for his children, so we don't know that, maybe he was abusive. I don't know, um, and do you really want to know those things? Well, he's so nice, and she just has an attitude every time she comes in, and you give good care and you compensate. But if you knew that he was abusive, you know, would you still give the same care? you know we do get very judgmental when we see things from the outside and we have no idea what's going on. And I think it does set a tone in the relationship with the family members and you as a caregiver, because of your perspective,
Right.
so it's very tricky. It's very tricky. Yeah.
It is. Let me share this with you. My father had a stroke for a long. He had multiple strokes, and it went on for a number of years. And I prayed that I'll go see him before he died because every time I'll see him in my dreams, he'll come saying goodbye to me. I said, Dad, you're not going anywhere, in the dream. And so finally, I got all my documentations together because for documentation reasons, I had what I needed to work in town, but I didn't have what to allow me to go out of the country and come back. So I couldn't travel to go see him. So when I could, as soon as I could, I jumped on the plane and I went to Ghana to see my dad because my prayer was I wanted to see him for him to see me before he died, and I'm his oldest daughter, you know, and so the day I went, the day after he was admitted in the hospital again, and so I was going every day with my son. I have one biological child, so I was going every day with my son, and when we go, he wouldn't go into his hospital room, you know. And so one day I snapped. I said, "Why don't you want to see Grandpa?" Like I snapped. And he said, "Mom, I don't want to see Grandpa like that." And so I got, it kind of woke me up some way,
Mm-hmm.
somehow. He didn't want to see his grandfather the way he was. He wanted to remember him, how he had always known him. At that moment, I respected that. I respected that and I backed off from
Mm-hmm.
it if that is what he needed. So sometimes too, and the reason I said that is because of what you said. They can't stand the process.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the heart. And I've come across families who can't what's the word to use? They just can't bring themselves to think of the father they knew or the mother they
Mm-hmm.
knew, that professional, tall, proud man to who they are becoming their old. They
Mm-hmm.
just can't. They
Mm-hmm.
can't handle it. And so they step away. we don't know that as caregivers, and it's really not our business to know, right? So that's why it's tricky, and we need to respect what is going on. We may not understand it, but we can respect it,
Mhm.
and play our role to ensure that you know there's some semblance of family
Right.
interactions, some way, somehow.
Right. And the comment says here, seen it happen, but my question is to me is how can I help? So what we're saying here is, yes, it happens, but how can I make that change? How can I implement something different in that role? So yeah, definitely. Queen Betty says, has it been your experience that patients with dementia are often not visited by their family members? I have been told by family members that this happens, that this person is not my mother, father, because they are
Mm,
not the same as they were before the diagnosis. Um,
yeah.
I see more families than not visit, and but that looks different kind of ways. Are you there because you're obligated, or are you there all the time because you want to be involved? It looks different, and I guess it's the intent behind it. So I think it looks different all the time, but more times than not with dementia, I see family engaged. But again, I see some families, and you just have to get to know the families and the dynamics. And a lot of times with dementia, a lot of times with healthcare, I'm sure you all know that work in healthcare, family members will offload on you. They'll share all their family issues and tell you why the sister's not as good as you are, so you get to learn and know these family members. And that's, again, how you develop family that we don't necessarily choose. We adopt these unintentional family members, and all of a sudden now you're caring, now you're trying to involve, now you're trying to fix, now you're trying to mend, as a caregiver, as someone compassionate, these situations. So, yeah, thank you for the comments.
What?
What's wrong?
Okay, let me make a quick call.
You okay?
Someone is not at work. Quick, continue. I'll be right with you.
Okay, that's cool. So yeah, Queen is gonna take this card really quickly. Make sure you all like and share. Subscribe if you have not already. Um, what else do I have here? Okay, so the cost of family. Let's talk about the cost of family really quick. What does that mean? I'm gonna give you some definitions, you guys. Y'all know I love definitions. Okay, so I was looking this up the other day. Okay. Hang on, my phone's running slow. That's why I keep looking down. I'm trying to finagle through this phone. Okay. Hang on just a second. So we're looking at the definition of cost, okay? The cost of something is to require the payment of, which is a specified sum, before it can be acquired or done. That's what cost means. So payment is required before you can get whatever you're looking for or whatever you're trying to acquire. So the definition of price, follow me, you guys. Price is the amount of money or whatnot, resources expected or given in payment of something. A lot of us operate in our families where there's a price to deal with family, right? We know if Uncle so and so calls, bro calls, I'm gonna have to be on the phone. I gotta hear this, yada yada. We know the price, but we don't acknowledge the cost. What does it require you? You see the price, you can pay it or you don't. What does it cost you to deal with family, to deal with relationships? And I'm saying that because we don't all have good relationships. with family. Everybody doesn't love their parents or their grandparents. Everybody doesn't feel like that. But what is the cost when you can't heal and mend from things in the past? Again, there goes that regret. What's the cost when you can forgive and let go? There's that gratitude. The price is gratitude and regret. What does it cost you?
Cost
So
your
think about that.
health.
What's that, Queen?
It costs you your mental health. It
Mm-hmm.
costs you your
Mm-hmm.
peace. You think that you've dealt with it. Oh, you don't care. No, it's costing you. You don't see it. Unforgiveness, the inability to not let go is on you. It's working some things in you that will ultimately end up destroying you if you don't
Mm-hmm.
fix it, if you don't face it. So definitely the cost is high to you who is carrying that grudge. You know what I mean? That's a powerful thing to bring about. The cost, that in economics it's called the opportunity cost. You know, what does it cost you?
Right.
What's the cost of calling your mom every day or every week? What's the cost of not calling her every week? How is it gonna feel when the last time she drove you so crazy, you got upset and just said, "I'll call you back," and you never bothered calling her. And the next time you get a call, your mom is dead or something like that. So what's that's a powerful way to look at it. But before that whole thing happened, it's been fixed. So before that happened, whew, before that happened, I was thinking we were talking about the processes and sometimes the family's ability or inability to want to be part of or witness mom or dad at a certain place. One of the things I was thinking about is this. When they visit, especially in case of dementia, when it's progressed and it's really bad, they don't know what to do. Like they don't know how to interact.
Mm-hmm.
And some things can just make you have, I don't want to say a panic attack, but it gives you that anxiety
Mm-hmm.
just coming to see mom. You really don't know what to expect, and you don't know how to interact. But I've seen families too who just come and sit and just be there. Your presence, sometimes your presence, if you can take it in any way at all and just be there.
Mm-hmm.
They may not. I know a man whose wife was in memory care for many years, and it got to a point where she didn't know who her husband was. Okay, and he continued to come there every day at lunch and dinner time to eat lunch and dinner with her. And one day somebody asked him, "Why do you bother? She doesn't even know who you are." And that statement the man made sits with me every day. He said, "But I know who she is. You know
Mm-hmm.
who your mother is. You know who your father is." They may not be that anymore. And the aging process, you and I never know who we will be. But however, whatever we are doing, we're also teaching our children to do to us. Let's be very cognizant of this fact that we are teaching our children. Mom did this to grandma, so mom knows. This is just the way it goes. Mom knows. Let's be cognizant of this fact. I'm not saying that you're doing it deliberately, but if you can, do your very best to be there because they need you. They feel valued. They feel like they worked for something. Some parents who are very mentally aware, alert, and all, but they say, "Oh no, I don't want to bother my children. I don't." Well,
Mm-hmm.
be there anyway because you know it's not a bother. It's something you do at pleasure, just because. Just because. And when you are there, let's talk about when you are there, being present when you are there, right? Even as caregivers, when we are with our clients and the families, let's be there. Let's want to be there and let us be there. Let us want to be there and be there. Because this thing with our phones, the phone is becoming a dangerous distraction right now.
Mm-hmm.
See, the seniors we have, they didn't know cell phones, right? If we have our books on our phones, our iPads, please, when you're going to your mom or your dad and you haven't bought them a Kindle, for them to read books in, and they're not aware, all they see you is you sitting there with that iPad. You are ignoring them. But if you
Mm-hmm.
read a book and you have a book with them, they have a book also reading. You are together in a way. But the key is let's engage, as you put it, interact, do something together, create
Yeah,
memories. Because they're dealing with stuff too. Yeah,
absolutely.
they're dealing with something.
I
Yeah.
agree. I
So
agree.
please go on with the cost thing because that's a very interesting point you're making there. I'd like to hear more.
Oh no, that was some of it. We just have to be mindful. Like you said, we are all connected. We're not meant to walk this life alone. So we're all connected, and we make an impact on people that we have no idea we're impacting. So what you do and don't do, it really does matter. It makes a huge difference. A lot of times we don't want to do things for the people because we are busy, because it does cost, because we don't want to pay the price. Like I said, what if you don't? And we have to get out of the mindset of, especially as caregivers, um, whether in healthcare or as family members, we have to get out of the habit of doing things that we don't want to do.
Mm.
What I mean by that, if my grandmother needs something and she calls, and I'm like, yeah, I'll go, no problem. And I get off the phone, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to go. Now I got to do this. Now I got to do that. Then why even do it? Your energy when you go over there and do whatever you're going to do is going to resonate. So why not say no? you know and I wrote something down when the word no, people say, no means no. It sounds simple enough, but people, well, why, but how about this? Instead of saying no, think to yourself, when you're saying no to something, is it not optional? Are you not obligated? No. Think about that. I'm obligated to serve. I'm obligated to show up. I'm obligated to make a difference. That's what we're obligated to do here. And I feel like everyone listening has that sense of obligation, not because someone told us to or told you to. It's what's in you. So it's hard to say no. It's hard to say, no, I can't go today because I'm busy. No, I can't go because I'm tired. No, I don't want to cook. No, I don't want to clean up. But how do we balance out our lives where we can say yes to ourselves while serving others? That's how we get back to family values, having a balance where we can feel well in our servitude. We can feel satisfied in blessing others. And that in itself is a blessing, but it still comes tenfold, even beyond that feeling of doing the right thing, you know? So it's okay to say no when it's okay to have, draw boundaries, set boundaries, you know, balance, and delegate. If I can't, hey Queen, can you go see Mom today? My sister and I were dealing. Uh, we're balancing things out. We're operating in family values. Have someone going to therapy. So we balance it out. I dropped the ball yesterday. My sister was Johnny on the spot. Okay, got it next week, and we plan like that. And it's okay, and it's all good. Balance, but get people in your life, family members that are willing to. And if they're not, then it's okay. Everybody's not obligated to love your mom like you do. So yeah.
One of the first things I was told when I came into this field as a caregiver was don't get attached emotionally. Don't get attached. I don't know how possible that is. For me, it wasn't possible. There's something about the human spirit, that draws you in because you can't sit with a person, be their companion, do stuff together 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week. and not develop an attachment. For me as an individual, it was not possible. Because I think that that attachment, that connection is what drives you to actually really even care.
Mm-hmm.
It's what drives you to go above and beyond. And so I don't tell that to my caregivers. I don't say don't get attached.
That is
Go,
the craziest thing I've ever heard, though. And people say it all the time. It's the
yes,
craziest thing.
yes, don't get attached.
And it shows what kind of healthcare provider you are. It shows your mindset. It doesn't make you a bad person. For me, it just doesn't make you equipped to do adequate work. Not even above and
It
beyond.
almost sounds like robotic. It sounds
Robotic.
yes, right?
Robotic. Exactly. That's exactly what it sounds like. So no, it's like you're just a number now. You're just a number. I don't know. I've never understood that. I've never had any respect for that.
Don't get attached. I want to. Is our time up? How long
Yeah,
have
we
we
got a few more
done
minutes.
it? I like to explore the word busy.
Okay.
For
Let's.
example, when someone says, "I've been so busy that," and that's why I haven't called you, or that's why I haven't done this, or that's why I haven't said that. Sometimes I'm thinking I am not a priority because we really make time for what matters, right? That's my opinion. We
Mm-hmm.
make time for what matters. If you're thinking about me in this day and age, a quick text to say, thinking about you. That doesn't take too much out of your time, especially for the things that matter in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So, talking about setting boundaries, even in the things that make us busy, we must, or cause us to be so busy, we must have boundaries for them because some things we are so busy doing, but they're not necessary.
Mm-mm.
They neither add or take away. So, really, we are just a lot of the time, this busyness is our way of avoiding the realities that goes on in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost a sign for the avoidant personality.
I like that.
Because when I keep going, 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 I don't get to think about that thing, you know? I think that personally, I have a little bit of the avoidant personality. So I'm able to, it's good in a way because I'm able to compartmentalize my life. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing home care, all right? I have this agency, Peak Home Care Associate. Okay, I'm also a mental health student with a specialty in marriage and family. Okay, and I'm dealing with life as it is. And sometimes, if I don't figure out a way to tune off even the agency work, so I can sit and actually focus and read my books and do my schoolwork, there is no way I can function.
Mm-hmm.
I also do that in spite of everything going on around in my life that could stress me. When I come home, I can fall apart. But I can shut that down and be with a client and smile and do what I need to do and actually enjoy it so they can enjoy because you can never fake anything with a senior. You can't. Unless today is your first day going to them. If you give them 2, 3 days, they already reading you, right? You can't fake it. So I can shut it down here and be here and be there. So there's a good side to the ability to compartmentalize your life so you can function. However, many of us are being busy, 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 going, go, go, go. By the time we can relax, we're so tired, we lie down, we just sleep, and we get up and we go, go, go. We are not living. We're really not living. And it's not healthy. We need to face whatever it is that's in front of us. We need to deal with it. We can't keep running. So figure out how you'll be able to create boundaries that stop you from living. Because this busyness without productivity, which are not necessarily seeds for future productivity, is not way. That's just my 2 cents, so to speak.
I agree. I agree. So before we get out of here, I want to encourage you guys, make sure you see the our information at the bottom of the screen. We ask you guys to grab a pen and paper, preferably a notebook, so you can keep up with your notes. Don't be like me, be writing stuff on scrap paper and just be everywhere. But I want to encourage you all to do 3 things while we're talking about reaching out to our families and connecting. I want you to write down one person that you can go visit face to face that you haven't seen in a while. One person that you need to call.
Okay, I'm writing this because I know exactly who I need to go see.
And one person who you can text. And now think about that. Someone, you have certain people you don't want to call them because you're not gonna get off the phone. You just want to check on them. That's the person you're gonna text. You have the other person that you text them and check on them, and they're gonna call because they need to talk. They've been waiting to talk to you. Call them. And who's that one person you need to do that face to face with? Let's see if we can get that done by next Saturday.
May I add to the list?
Yes.
Find one evening or one morning or one afternoon, whatever works for your family, and sit down together and eat without your phones.
Oh, I love it.
Start at home. One day, just one day a week. This week. I don't know what time works because I can't say dinner. Some people work late evening shift, some people work morning shift. But what is that time where you and your children, you and your spouse and children, or your household can sit down and eat a meal together or share a dessert together, whatever it is, just without the phones, talk and laugh and interact with each other. If we can't do it at home, it will be difficult to get the children to do it with grandma who doesn't live with them. Add that to your list. Thank you.
I love it. Yes, let's do it. We can talk about it. You all can always email us. You can catch us on Peak Homecare Associates Facebook page. Drop us a line, drop us a comment and let us know where you're going with that progress, right? Really quickly, we are out of time. We want to make sure you do, again, subscribe, click all the links in the descriptions and subscribe to everybody. Like and share. Really quickly, this Tuesday, I'm so excited because I get to go. My husband works at Traditions at North Willow. So I, after begging for some months, get to go back and do their dementia support group. So if you all are in the neighborhood, you all come by at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're talking about mental health awareness. So it's a dementia support group. Whether you're a healthcare provider, whether you're a family member, whatnot, come on by. It is my king's birthday too. So he's going to be working and giving back to the community. But we're going to talk about mental health awareness and how it affects us and how we can process in life with that. So I would love to have you all there. And there's information on the screen for anybody who wants to join. So yes. Queen, where are we located?
I'm
get a hold of us. Oh, she left me.
I'm writing it down so I don't forget. Are we live?
Yes, we're live.
Okay. So yes, I'm gonna see if I am not scheduled to work with any client, and I will be there. If I'm not, I promise you, I'm gonna be there. We have to celebrate our king some way, somehow.
Yes, I'm super excited. So yeah. And then back to our business, we definitely want to connect with you, stay connected with you. So www.peakhomecareassociates.com is going to be the way to do that. Go over there, whether you need home care or not. We have awesome conversations here, don't we? So see what else is going on, how we make a difference in the community. We are located in Noblesville, Indiana, but we service all central Indiana, not all, but the majority surrounding locations. So whether you need us now or you know somebody that does, we have so much to offer for you and your loved ones, whether you're a healthcare provider, family. So check us out, Queen.
Have an amazing week. It's been a great pleasure. We love you, Queen Betty, Queen Lori, Queen Randa. I'm not seeing it. I'm speaking from memory. So yes, if I'm not Queen Joyce, I saw Queen Joyce. Have an amazing week. And to all our fans, followers out there, have an amazing week. We'll come your way next week. Next week, I'll be coming in all the way from Colorado.
There we go.
Yeah,
So
I'll be
stay
joining
tuned.
Colorado. There's a group of women who are prayer warriors. They're women, all female intercessory group. They are meeting to pray for the state of Indiana, and I've been invited to be part of that. So I'm excited.
Now, are you going? Are you doing a live with that? Are you going live with
I
that?
haven't asked if they're going to make it a live thing. We can record it. We are praying for the state of Colorado. You can join in and pray for that state, and next time it just might be your state. Praying for us as women, praying for our children, our families, our careers, and everything that concerns us as women. So, yeah, I'll let you know. I'll find out and let you know and share it.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Great job, Queen. Thank you.
Thank you, Queen.
All right. So until next week, peace, love, and blessings to you all. Thank you for tuning in. Much love to everyone. Nope, that's not it. That's mine. Here we go. Let's try it again. Human, being human. Let's go. Take care, you all.